Welcome back to another episode of Utility Room Legends, the podcast where we shine a light on the people behind the products, the projects, and the progress shaping the water and wastewater industry. Thank you to everyone who continues to listen, subscribe, and share the podcast. You can find every episode on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and at utilityroomlegends.com, where you can also reach out if you'd like to be a future guest. If you've spent any time in this industry, you know there are certain names that become synonymous with the product itself, and Fernco is one of those legendary names. When we say legends, we're not talking about folklore. We're talking about the individuals and manufacturers who solve real problems and quietly move this industry forward in ways most people never see. And today's guest represents exactly why that is. Dave Donahue is a Waterworks Market Manager with Fernco, a company built on solving real-world problems, dating back to a plumber in Detroit who quite literally started hand-making solutions to fix pipe connections, and that spirit of innovation is still very much alive today. In this episode, we talk about Dave's path into the industry, from construction and marketing into sales, and how that diverse background shaped the way he approaches customers and problem solving. We talk about what it means to represent a brand that's become a household name in the industry and the responsibility that comes with it. Also, how Fernco continues to innovate by listening to feedback from individuals in the field, working with reps, contractors, and municipalities to develop real solutions. And one of the most impactful stories, how their Sparks program has created meaningful opportunities for individuals on the autism spectrum, showing that leadership in this industry goes far beyond the products themselves. We also get into some great conversations around the evolution in the industry, from its beginning days through COVID and beyond, the role of technology, social media, and innovation in reaching customers in new ways, and how, at the end of the day, this industry continues to move forward by solving problems, one connection at a time. Dave's story is a great reminder that most people don't grow up planning to get into waterworks, but once you're in it and you see the impact, it's hard to imagine doing anything else. And that's exactly what Utility Room Legends is all about, highlighting the people who may not always be in the spotlight, but who are making a lasting impact on the systems that keep our world running. Let's get into it. Dave.
John.
Yep. Great to have you on. Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you for having me, sir.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
You bet, man. We're glad to have you. Thanks for coming out. I know you were out for NWPSA and appreciate you guys doing that.
Yeah.
So we had like 38 operators.
Yep.
So, yeah, it was good.
Full room.
Full room, yeah. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, I appreciate you coming out.
Yeah,
Glad
thanks
to
for
have you
having
on.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little about you.
Yeah. My name is Dave Donahue. I am a Waterworks Market Manager for Fernco Incorporated, the global leader for flexible couplings.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Everyone should know Fernco. That's kind of like the Kleenex name, right? They call it Fernco.
Yeah.
Fernco?
Yep. Even if it's not a Fernco, they call it a Fernco. It's the household name. And truly blessed to work for a great company as Fernco. They've been like family to me. I've worked there for 8.5 years, going up on 9 in July. So, yeah.
And how many history of Fernco? Just how many years and how'd they get their start? Based out of?
Yeah. No, great question. So Fernco was started in 1964 by a gentleman named William Zophi, and he was a master plumber in Detroit, and he actually came up with the Fernco donut.
Okay.
So before connecting wastewater pipes, is they would take the bell end into the hub end of the pipe and jam it in there, and they would put tar and rags and everything that they could find to connect the pipe. And William Zophi came up with the idea of the Fernco donut, and he started using these, and master plumbers were looking at what he was using to install, and they said, "Hey, how do I get one of those?" And he said, "Well, I make them myself." And so
He hand making them himself.
Hand making them himself.
That's similar to like EBA. Same thing.
Yeah.
It's just hand making. Yep.
Definitely.
Did he ever describe the process? Like, what was he doing? Just buying bulk rubber and
Yeah, waffle makers and just making a donut that fit the the ID of the pipe. And normally, he said the transition that when his manufacturing pocket got bigger than his plumbing pocket, that's when he made the changeover.
Okay.
And about that time, shortly after, he hired Daryl Cooper to become his national sales manager. And they started the business in Ferndale, Michigan. Fernco, hence the
there
name.
you go. See, I didn't know that. Something new every day.
Yep. And then the business then moved up to Davison, Michigan, where it's currently at now. And Daryl Cooper bought out William Zophi, I'm sure for a penny on the dollars back then. And that's what started Fernco Joint Sealer back in 1974, I believe, around that time, officially. And Daryl has ran the company for years and years, and first generation Cooper, and now the two sons run the company, Mark Cooper and Chris Cooper, and then their sister is a third owner, silent owner, Heather Cooper, but still family owned and operated to this day. Operating.
I work for one of those. Family owned and operated. Yep.
We're blessed, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we could do so much for our customers, and we have the backing of a family member, right? That is, especially someone like Brent, who's been in the trenches, right? I've heard his story on this podcast, and he started from the warehouse to where he is now, and so he's done it all. And kind of like our owners, Chris and Mark, where they've really grown, from the warehouse to presidents, CEOs, and they understand what we do on a day in and day out basis.
Yeah.
And so they really understand the business and understand what it takes to succeed and, create such a great product.
Yeah. And 100% made in the U.S. Right?
Made in the U.S., yeah.
Well, we're working on the 100% part to have that out, right, for BABA.
Yeah. So right now we have, as far as the RC couplings, we have a 1,000 RC, and then we have a 5,000 series RC. And then if you want to meet all AIS and BABA compliance, we have a 6,000 series, which is really just changing the stock rod inside the screw, depending on the size of the coupling, to be fully domestically made here in the USA.
So AIS is right. AIS is somewhat. To me, I'm kind of wondering, because you have AIS, which is going to be if the product is predominantly made of iron and steel,
Correct.
Right? Then 100% of any iron and steel has to be poured cast in the United States. BABA's kind of different threshold.
Yes.
So, but on AIS, to me, would the majority of the product be not predominantly iron and steel? Because is it going to be that much more than the cost of the? Well, it's PVC, right? It's polyvinyl chloride. Yeah.
So, majority of our product as a Fernco is flexible PVC, but then obviously the stainless steel clamps that go on there. So.
But by measured cost, the steel is going to cost more than the polyvinyl chloride. So
correct.
So
Correct.
you guys are playing it. You guys are playing it safe. You're playing it the right way.
Yeah. Well,
Because a lot of manufacturers will be like, no, it's predominantly not iron and steel because by measured cost, you can make that measured cost whatever you want.
Yeah. No.
You guys played it right.
And we play it by the books. And, hopefully here soon, very soon, we're going to have some exciting news to share about our coupling being fully AIS, BABA compliant, not needing a 6,000
not needing additional
series
part,
or something like that. So, if everything goes well, which we're planning it does, we're hoping to be the first domestic flexible coupling that is AIS and BABA compliant without any, alterations or any, differentiate of a coupling. It'll all just fall under AIS.
So I guess
BABA
in
compliance.
that case, the whole intent of the law worked, right? Making 100% of that back.
100%. Yeah.
American manufacturers, so good.
You know, that's kind of what the owners were hoping, that
Yeah.
this presidential regime wanted to bring manufacturing back to the States, and, you know, that's kind of what we're doing. You know, hopefully in time just for the big 250.
Well, AIS has been, I think it was first enacted in under the Obama administration, I believe, was the first for AIS, and then BABA was the difference there, which kind of threw, because that was under BABA was under Biden. Obviously, the Trump administration has been very adamant about pushing for manufacturing back with tariffs and things like that. Which I think we talked with Chris about the tariffs and
That was a
how
great
that's
episode.
impacted. Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
I love that guy.
Yeah, he's a wealth of knowledge.
He is.
I mean, you as well. Watching you two go back and forth was a great watch.
I appreciate it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, when you're talking for Fernco, what blew me away is the amount of couplings that are produced per day.
Yeah. It's astounding when you see it, and when you tell customers, reps, distributors, whoever, that over 100,000 pieces go out the door a day. Every day.
Yeah.
And that's on the lighter side.
Right.
In the summertime, we're pushing about 120, 130
Wow.
a day. But you have to think about, we're making everything from, quarter of an inch to, 27 inches.
And larger on LDC.
Exactly. And that's all custom made on the blue line.
Yeah.
I've seen couplings go up to 60, 72 inches, no problem. And we get those out, same day, if not next day. That we have a whole team that's just dedicated to custom LDCs, and it's kind of where we thrive too.
Yeah.
Where another manufacturer might look at an OD of that size and say,
Yeah,
guys, we got to shut down, we got to bring people over here, where we have an entire team that's literally all they do.
And so the large diameter, where are those produced at or made?
In Davison, Michigan.
Oh, they are too. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, that's been. I mean, Fernco is one of those manufacturers. Like, it's kind of like you have the pre-COVID and post, but like how those manufacturers adjusted and what they did.
Yeah.
Before is like, for us, like Fernco is just like rock solid. Like you have those manufacturers that it's awesome because you get to go out there and just really. And one thing I would say, like you were talking about passion in the industry, and is with I think it's nice to have a manufacturer that you feel also has a passion about what they do, because Fernco has always listened to the reps about product ideas, and it's crazy. I've never seen a manufacturer that you give them a problem, you come up with, hey, this is an issue, and then within a year, not even sometimes, there's a solution. I mean, the one example I'll give you is a 1070, 1071.
Yeah.
So that was something that here on the Western Slope, like there was issues with, right? And they didn't go large diameter at that time. There was, 1070 I think was under development, because I'm sure it's something that it wasn't just the information we passed along, but I think relaying the size, because then it went to 1071 from 1070.
Correct.
That, I believe, came out of like the Western Slope. It was communicating back to, this is a problem. And like Mike Ford at the time was our rep, and we were traveling, and he was listening, and then we talked about it, and then got some feedback, kept communicating on it.
Yeah.
There was no solution for anything above, I want to say 8-inch really, for corrugated, connecting PVC to corrugated.
Yep.
And they listened, they produced a product. I mean, to me, that is the whole,
It's the whole
purpose
point.
of a manufacturer, right? Is to solve a problem.
Yeah. And obviously working other jobs before this, we've all experienced problems that, hey, this is what I'm dealing with, and you've seen that it goes nowhere. But obviously working for a company like Fernco, a family-owned company, that you're able to bring problems to the top and say, hey, I have a customer that has a problem. What can we do? What can we R&D? And more times than not at Fernco that I've discussed something that we've come up with a solution, which is so great.
Yeah. That to me as a rep is the best part, is communicating.
Yeah.
And I tell the guys, like, my job is I want to hear your problems. And then I'm going to take it back to the manufacturer and let them know what the problems are.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how everything was made, right?
Yep.
I mean, I remember, oh gosh, it was I was maybe like 2 or 3 years after I started, and I was at one of the rural water conferences, and a city guy, a guy who'd been doing it for like 30 years, comes up and he picks up a product. I don't even remember what it was, something standard. He's like, if they would just do this, and they would just do that, and they would just do this, it'd be perfect. I'm like, do you know how many companies that we represent were started like that? It's somebody solving a problem.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's the fun part of doing it. When a manufacturer wants to do that, you know, I would say there's two types of manufacturers, which I was talking to Chris about. The ones that say, you know, if someone says, why should I do business with you, or why should I buy your product? And if they say, because we've been in business for 150 years and X, Y, Z, because or because we're so and so,
Yeah.
you should run. And the other one's like, because we want to know your problems and we want to solve them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's the whole point.
It is 100%. And talking about COVID and during those times when manufacturers had struggles of getting product.
You guys
out,
had struggle for a little bit that
We
shocked
did.
people because they were like, this is Fernco. Like, normally it was like 3 to 5 days.
I know.
Right? Ships,
I
and I
know.
was like, this
Well,
is Fernco. Well, tell us what happened.
We started during COVID, I mean, rocking and rolling. And, sales were great, demand was great.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of our distributors were like, you guys are like the only ones that haven't dropped the ball. And then, unfortunately, we had the steel strike, and where we get our stainless steel clamps, they had went on strike. And, during that time, our owners probably could have shut down machines, laid people off, sent people home, all that stuff. And
Send out force majeure letters and say, we're going to, give us, regroup. No.
Nope, we didn't do any of that. Actually, we continued making couplings without bands, and Mark Cooper.
This is the coolest story.
Yeah, and Mark said that, we're going to continue to build these couplings. I'll stack them to the ceiling if I have to, and once we get these bands in, we're going to go. And actually a story that Brandon...
Well, I think Brandon was our regional rep at that time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he reached and called and was like, this is what's going on. And like how you guys solved it was insane. Like, did you guys run out of, during COVID, you had abandoned buildings or buildings that weren't being used, and did you guys stock them all there to the top? And
there's actually a old retail building that was probably 1.5 miles from our manufacturing facility that had gone out of business.
Yeah. Okay.
And we rented that out for months on end, and literally we just took truckloads of unbanded couplings and we shipped them over there.
That's insane. Just kept producing them.
Kept making them.
Knew you had people waiting for them or getting pissed, but you just like, what are you gonna do?
Yep.
You can't do anything outside of your control.
Nope. And actually, when we did get the bands in, this is kind of alluding to a story that Brandon wanted to tell, but I said, hey, let me tell the story. It's on the podcast, all right? I want to tell it. That we had a lot of jobs that were, monotonous, just doing the same thing, repetitive over and over. Mm-hmm. And we had 3 people in our accounting department that had children that were on the spectrum, and they were struggling to find, a full-time job,
mm-hmm.
a solid job, something that they could go to every single day. And we've actually employed those kids to install the bands on our coupling. And what started as 2 to 3 kids has now evolved into 30 kids that are on the spectrum from, all over. And they're holding a full-time job. We're giving them an opportunity to go to work and not just putting couplings together, boxing up the products, shipping them out.
You're paying them, right?
Yes, we are paying them.
I'm just kidding.
And these kids, we have testimonials from their parents writing to ownership of, hey, my son could never find a job before. He was working at this fast food restaurant, and, they just couldn't deal with some of his inabilities to either have a quiet space or something like that they needed someone to work with these kids. Mm-hmm. And we were able to give them a job that they can excel at. And some of these kids are buying cars, they're renting homes, buying homes, really building a life for themselves through Fernco. And I think we're up to about 40 kids now.
Wow.
And we've had...
So you still left that all in place, even though things kind of went back?
Still. Yep. It's a
That's
whole...
cool.
Yeah, it's the Sparks program that we've created at this company. And we've had... congressmen come in. We've had a senator come in. We've had, a lot of people through the state of Michigan come in and, really applaud us for what we're doing, wanting to give us grants and wanting to give us, funds to help support this. And while the Cooper family has, been very thankful for that, they haven't accepted any of that money. This is kind of near and dear to their heart. They said, nope, this is something that we want to do.
Is there any connection for autism for the Cooper family? Is there any?
Not to my knowledge. I think
it's kind of like something that kind of evolved from.
They just had a few employees that worked on the carpet side that they must have heard that someone from accounting or someone from IT had a individual, whether it was a son or daughter, that, they just heard a story of how they couldn't, keep a job, hold a job. No one was giving them a chance, and this was a prime opportunity where it started off putting the stainless steel bands on the couplings, which has now blossomed into, it's literally a whole department in our manufacturing facility in the corner that they've really built out, and the Cooper family is very proud of what they've created and
they should be. That's
the opportunities that they've given these kids, and it's great. It's great to see that they're doing something that's a little out of the norm in this industry. And we talk about it sometimes with customers and reps, and people can get a little on edge, talking about these kids that might have a disability or something that they're on the spectrum with, but really, after you've taken the time and you've seen what this has built into,
like concerned as far as like if they're putting the product
no,
just concerned
concerned just that this isn't your normal manufacturing facility, in a sense that when you walk in, you're not used to quite seeing this. You're used to seeing blue collar
you got a bunch of
men,
kids in there.
women. Yeah, we got kids that are on the spectrum, and I'm telling you, they do a great job too. From bell to bell, they work really hard, and it's just a cool thing that we're doing, and
that's awesome.
We definitely love to talk about it.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think it should be rewarded. I mean, that's glad you. I always thought the story was there were like high school kids. I didn't know it was like which they probably are, but it's like
some are.
Yep. No one had mentioned that whole fact. Yeah.
But from high school graduates to I call them kids. 20s, late 20s.
Well, they are. I'm like about ready to turn 47, man. I mean, my son's 19. I call him a kid. Kid.
I'm turning 38, and I have two young kids.
How old?
Myself. My daughter is 3, and my son is 1. So I'm in the thick of it right now.
Yeah. I got 4. Yeah, 19, 15, 12, and 8. All boys.
All boys,
yeah. And I was the oldest of 12.
You were the oldest of 12?
Yeah. So, yeah. And actually, we bring that story, my sister, so it's myself.
So you have to be great at fighting. There's just
no
way around that.
Oh, my brother and I fought, but he's 6'4" now, so he'd take me down.
He's got you.
Yeah, he's got me. But no, my sister, after me, she's 2 years younger than me. She has Prader-Willi syndrome. It's very similar to Down syndrome. So, a lot of the characteristics, a lot of, especially now when you look, there's certain things that for autism, right, they refer to as the spectrum, and a lot of the characteristics or people like Prader-Willi or even Down syndrome, they exhibit autistic spectrum-like symptoms.
Okay.
Or not, I wouldn't say symptoms, but behavior. So I can definitely relate. And my sister loves working, so she has like a day program, and they do, and they get, they have different jobs that they'll do.
Yeah.
She loves it.
Yeah.
She works hard. Look, it's funny because my sister, I mean, there's certain things that she can do that there's no way in hell I could ever do. Like,
Yeah.
my sister can put a puzzle together, a 500 piece puzzle in an hour.
Yeah.
Done. So
Just so
yeah,
focused and dialed in.
Yeah.
And we found with the kids that are part of the Spark program, you give them a task, something to do. I mean, like I said,
They're going to do it.
Bell to bell, they're going to do it.
I can say if my sister was doing it, she's the best because she's like, everything for her is process. Like if you have time, like my sister, if there's like a schedule and you deviate from the schedule, you're going to find out about it.
Oh yeah, she'll tell you.
Yeah, I think I don't want to I don't want to say which airline because I don't specifically remember anyway. But back, oh gosh, I'm trying to remember what year this was. But you could have somebody escort somebody over to the gate, so my sister, my parents said, my parents live in Texas, and my sister still lives here, so they had arranged for a flight for her to go out there, and so she was escorted to the gate. And then they went and somebody notified her they changed her seat.
Ooh. Threw her for a whirlwind, huh?
Yeah, well, she's no longer allowed to fly in that plane for and it was really just because. But I'm like, well, what did you? I mean, you took away that schedule, right? It was like that's my seat.
Yeah,
Done. So, but yeah, if I find a lot of times I'd imagine for those kids, if you give them a task and you tell them what to do, and you show them, I mean, they're going to be dead focused on that.
Yep.
So.
Yep. It's a great program.
And that's kudos to you guys. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great story. And then you yourself, you've been there how long?
Coming up on 9 years, so I'm 8.5 right now. This will be my 4th year in sales.
Ooh,
So,
what'd you do before sales?
Before that, actually, sales at our sister company, Source One Environmental. And before that, I actually got my start in marketing for both Fernco and Source One.
How did they get you into sales?
My boss at the time, this was actually just before COVID, a couple of years before, I said, hey, I want to make more money. He goes, yeah, that's easy. Go into sales. I was like, okay. Any openings, anything where you could see me? He goes, this is all about timing, and your timing couldn't be any better. I have a territory in the Northeast that I'd love to put you on. So if you're open to it, we will start the process, interviewing you, making sure it's a right fit. And we went through all of that and, cutting my teeth into sales at Source One was fantastic. It was a great introduction to this side of the business, but working with contractors, then with distributors. So I got to work with the contractors first, and then obviously being on the Fernco side, I'm working a lot with distributors and reps and things like that.
And how many, when Source One, how many were there at that time? With Source
How many
One?
salesmen?
Yeah, like the Source One group, because I kind of knew.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 7
Yeah.
direct salesmen.
Okay.
And then we have a handful of buy-sell reps, too.
Okay. Yeah.
That would cover a territory for us and buy product and sell it.
And then you were covering, you said the north.
The Northeast, so
East.
pretty much Pennsylvania on up.
Okay.
Yep. So I had a unique situation that I was really learning. I was cutting my teeth. I was selling to contractors, municipalities. And this is a sectional point repair kit.
Yeah.
And then I really feel like I was just getting my momentum, and I was learning how to go into a municipality, learning how to go into a contractor's office, get my pitch down. And then March 2020, bam, the world shut down.
Right.
At least, that's what it felt like for us.
It did.
Yeah, it did. It really did.
Yeah, at that time, I don't know if you've met Nick Martinez, worked with us. He was hired from Denver Water, and he was, we hired him, and like a week after his first day, COVID. And I know, like, he was freaking out just because, there's a guy who worked for a municipality, right? Like, you're going to get fired.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you could get furloughed, but, even then, people still need water.
Yep.
So I know he was like, he was freaking out, and I'm like, don't worry, like this, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Because he had just been hired. It's like, you're gonna be fine. People need water.
Yep.
Like we're about to get slammed. Plus, I knew it was going to happen with if they did that supply chain, and no one could have actually at that time perceived how insane it was going to get.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Because it was only supposed to be a week, right?
I mean, you had fire hydrants that are like 52 weeks out. This is nuts.
Yeah.
And then anyone that was domestic was inundated with orders because they were freaking out that they couldn't get anything.
Yep.
And
Brass,
it was just, yeah.
You know, pipe.
Brass, well, yeah.
Oh my God.
Toilet paper.
Toilet paper. Yeah.
It seems like, I mean, and honestly, looking back, sometimes it's like, it seems so insane.
Yeah, it does.
It seems so insane. And then, but that, again, that highlights really the point of, and it's not, I mean, to the American manufacturers that are, have foundries or factories here, it points out the fact that we really do need more.
Yeah.
And not just one, because one gets inundated.
Yeah.
I mean,
and
they
we
get
continued to work
everyone's. Yeah. You
through
did.
all of that. I know on, I can't remember if you were talking to Chris or Brent, but you talked about working through COVID and, the state saying, hey, why are there cars out
Oh, that was Brent,
in the
yeah.
parking lot?
Yeah.
It's like, well, we're a necessity, You want to actually understand what we do? Here's a letter. Here, come, we'll show you. The same thing happened to us. They tried to shut Fernco down, and we like, do you even know what we do?
Yeah.
We provide a product that is necessary.
And you really don't want to you don't want to mess with products that repair wastewater.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
not a. Yeah.
When you flush your toilet, you want it to go away.
Down, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't know if you saw over at Newman's office. He still has it. Because we increased our hours. That's what Brent had said in that podcast. Which I remember that everyone was like putting their head in the sand. It was like, no, we increase our hours. Like people need to know we're here.
Yep.
But so Newman, who was on the podcast before, I had printed off. There was a funny little meme there with Will Ferrell.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, I don't know how to say this. Like, I'm a big deal. That one. It was like, I don't know how to quite tell you this, but I'm essential personnel. Like that was the whole deal during COVID, right?
Yeah.
It was a crazy time.
It was.
And, I feel like the business changed a lot. Like, I'm saying even down the line, moving forward, I really hoped, although you still see, I thought that we would learn our lesson on really pushing the domestic manufacturing, and there's definitely been a little bit of that, but I feel like up until recently, that kind of like went away.
Yeah.
And then now it seems to be coming back, but we need to have it. It's
We
just,
do.
you got to have it.
Yeah.
And there's a space for import.
100%.
But domestic is, it's critical for infrastructure. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Um,
so you've been there. So before that, so you were in marketing, then sales and source one.
Yep.
And then you get the call during COVID.
Yeah, and just as COVID started to unravel and everything's starting to play out there, we were told to, hey, stay home for the beginning, you know? And I'm like, all right, I can't.
Want to make sure no one's we're all going to die.
Yeah. I can't just sit still. I can't just do nothing. So with my marketing background, I used a lot of social media and, that's where I communicated a lot of our company's message, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, all those things. I go, all right, let me go see if any of my customers are on here. I'm going on Facebook. I'm going on LinkedIn. I'm going on. And I started selling through social media. And while some of our salesmen experienced a decline in sales, I shot up. And my boss was like, what are you doing? I was like, at night, when everything's all said and done, and all the contractors and the muni guys, because they're working throughout the day, but at night, they'll get on some of these blog posts and groups, and they're talking about, hey, what's everyone using to connect to this, and what's everyone doing when they experience this problem? And I would just hop in and say, hey, this is what I have. This is who I am. Hey, I would recommend, and I would tag other people. Oh, you got to talk to John at XYZ company. Mm-hmm. So I would be a resource.
Right.
Not just for myself and what I'm selling, but whoever else was in the market saying, no, you need to talk to him. He'll get you hooked up. And so I was selling through social media at the time, and then I was getting new customers. And then these guys already like to be on the internet, social
Right.
media, and then they would use my products and say, oh no, you got to talk to Dave. So they were essentially a walking billboard for me at the time. So 2021, 2022, all of that, I just continued to grow, and grow. And it was fun. You know, at that time, I felt like I had the unique answer for getting out. And then obviously we started to get let loose as time went on, and I got to see these guys face to face. But something stuck with these guys that when they saw me, they're like, Dave, I've bought how many things from you, and this is the first time that I'm meeting you. And it's like,
that's
cool.
That's
COVID, you know? So, and then shortly after that, like you talked about, Brandon Cars, he was the regional manager here. And then they asked Brandon to move into our new market, Fernco Infrastructure. And he's heading that up right now. And that left an opening for Fernco Waterworks. And, you know, I loved what I did on the Source One side. Fernco is just such a big entity of what we do now that I saw it as an opening to, all right, I've done this. Yeah, of course I want to learn the coupling side. It's, you know, like you said, the Kleenex of flexible couplings. So
everyone calls it a Fernco.
Yeah.
I mean, I recognized, you know, not even being in the industry until 2013, I recognized the brand logo just from if you'd gone to Home Depot or, you know, my dad's probably tried to repair a bunch of stuff with Ferncos.
Yeah.
Put the rubber band on with the stainless steel bands.
Yep, the coupler. I mean, there's a million names for it.
Yeah.
But, you know, even guys that say they sell a Fernco, they're like, oh, yeah, we have Ferncos. And I look at them.
Not, yeah. That's, I mean, we deal with that.
I don't run into that too often. Yeah. That's a rarity. But it's funny that even if they don't have a quote-unquote Fernco, everyone still calls it.
I mean, that's like there's a couple products like that, which is crazy, like Eva with the Mega Lug.
Yeah,
you know, like,
exactly.
Like Bruce Kurzweil said, that's a Mega Lug look-alike. I mean, they just call it that because that's what, you know, and that's actually a testament to how well that product kind of stands out, you know, and everyone knows it like that, right? Yeah. So you solve there's definitely clearly a need or a product that everyone knows that's going to be that industry name. So it's hard to get that.
Yeah, and while we have a lot of competitors out there that do or that manufacture products that look just like ours, you know, people always ask me, hey, how does Fernco still stand apart from everyone else? Well, quality, great lead times, listening to our customers, listening to our reps, innovation, coming out with new products. You know, you look at our catalog and everyone thinks of us as, you know, a standard coupling, you know, a black coupling, 2 bands. But if you open our catalog, it's, you know, Hulk couplings, Icon push fit couplings. You know, we're
chemical resistant
couplings, the 1070, 1071. Power wrap. You love saying that.
I do.
Yeah.
No, the Power Wrap's a pretty cool product.
It's very cool. Yeah. Very cool.
So, yeah, we've actually had, I remember back a while, we had a guy that was in wastewater, and, you know, for like Y fittings, those would always break at the branch.
Yeah.
And they would see it constantly, especially when you get like temperature and movement, like over time, or shearing, like the whole reason the Icon's there. And so we had this guy, who was a wastewater guy. Mike will know it. He's one of Mike's favorites. But every time I would take Mike, you know, to go out and we talk to him, but where they started using a ton of Power Wrap, and it was on those Y fittings because Power Wrap was for pressure.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So they thought this thing was the coolest thing because instead of going out and cutting out and replacing this Y, they wanted to know if they could wrap it like a cast, right? That's exactly described it, like wrap it like a cast. And since you're talking about no more than 10 pounds, well, you know, on sewer.
Yep.
It was funny because you could never get a straight answer, but it was like the answer we had was like, well, it's never been tested for that, but yes, it has. Yeah, this is where I'm going to give Mike Ford some credit. I'm trying to do his voice too. He's like it's never been tested, but yes, we have used it on that application. And I love Mike Ford, so
spot on, Mike Ford impersonation.
And it they bought it, and I thought it was cool. But again, it's one of those things about solving a problem.
Yeah, yeah.
It's the whole point. You're the whole reason you're there.
And perspective, some guys will look at the power app and go, "Oh, that's just a temporary fix until you can, cut out the pipe and get a new piece of pipe and put 2 Ferncos on it." Or in situations like that where guys go, "No, this says what it can do.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a permanent solution."
Yeah. Well, we know. I mean, that's kind of the joke I've always had with the guys on the water systems operators is, there's products that are rated for permanent repair, and a lot of times, if you look at what you're supposed to do on a repair,
Yeah.
like an open trench cut, you'll cut, then you'll have your piece of pipe to go in there, your pup or whatever it is, and you're going to have your coupling on each side, and you make your repair. So you have 2 cuts. Stick a pipe, couplings, right?
Yep.
And that's kind of always been, that's like the permanent repair. So even if you go out there and you wrap up, a clamp on it, a Band-Aid,
Yeah.
right? So my joke is always, so once you put the clamp on there, right, because you're supposed to leave that exposed open,
Yeah.
right? Wait till you get the parts you need, go in there and make the permanent repair. So I tell them, so once you do that, how many days do you wait? Do you leave it exposed? Because they're all laughing because they just, they'll bury it.
Yeah.
Which they'll put the clamp on it and bury it. They got to go. They got too many other things going on.
Right.
But there's products out there that are rated for permanent repair. So wouldn't you rather just do it permanent and bury it and be done?
You'd think.
Yeah. And they'll still bury it and do it, but it's like, at least you can do it with a product that's rated for that, or they tell you that. So
Yeah. This industry's funny like that.
it's it's a great time to be in the industry because I feel like there's a huge transition from kind of changing from the industry's going from this deal where now you're having a lot of new technology, like in today, you're talking about GIS and AI, coming in with
Mapping
and then predicted models. Some of the stuff they're doing.
You shouldn't give out your idea that you talked about earlier, talking about AI and the map and certain products and where we
I'm
see.
sure that's already been done, but I think it's
I don't know. I think you need to pitch that to someone. You might be onto something.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Somebody's watching. They want to pay. I'm signing NDAs. So.
Yeah.
No, it's probably been done, but there's a need because that is. It's funny because we're transitioning into it. We don't have. There's no way we can keep doing the same thing. I mean, that is the definition of insanity: is doing everything the same and just expecting that it's going to be different, and it's not. You're going to get the same result.
Yep.
Until they fix it, until people fix it, or they want better solutions.
Yeah.
And usually, I find the best solutions are where there's where that industry is more capital or profit based because there's an incentive to do it right. Like you don't want to get sued. Yep. Right. And I feel sometimes that water's just kind of. There's a lot of people in this transition where people are looking for different solutions. They understand. They get it.
Yeah.
And it's an exciting time because there's kind of those older people that have been in the industry forever, and now you kind of have there's this big gap.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of guys that are. It's exciting to see some of these younger guys getting into it now.
Yeah.
Where you just didn't have that. So.
Yep. And talking about, I think it was the episode with Chris that it's a blessing and a curse in this industry that nothing new climbs up the ranks so fast that will, put away kind of what's tried and true, which is good that we don't have these fly-by-night companies that come in and say, oh, this can fix all your problems. And then you finally realize, oh, all right, it doesn't meet this standard. It doesn't meet this code. It actually, stops working after a year.
Right.
That it's great that our industry moves in a slow manner that we can weed those guys out, but also we're not as quick to adopt the latest and greatest, newest, and stuff that should be pushed to the top. And we could use in an everyday application to make our systems better. It's one of those catch-22s.
That's been something that I understand why you have, so you have places that require X amount of years of history. And
Yeah.
Which I get why, right? But it's like, could we do it better? Like maybe could we have some type of
testing?
An accredited or maybe you
party?
have something, a third party that everyone can adopt as credible, that you put it through those tests.
Yeah.
I mean, why would you wait that long with everything going on? I mean, what happens is it kind of becomes this, and what's interesting with that episode, talking to Chris, is you're talking about a product that really changed, water distribution. So like how
100%.
we before that it was concrete.
Yeah, just
Or
take a
or
bag
you
and-
might have some rings and some thrust rods, right, and anchors.
Yeah.
But you had concrete, and then you would maybe put a thrust rod or put a all thread and bolt it down and hold it together. But
and pray.
that product changed everything. And then,
Yep.
but it's funny because you do get to a point where I get it. You can't make any more of this, right? This is the kind of the old way.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that's exciting with, with Chris, and I think with there's a lot of companies where you're seeing some of that change from, that where I talked about that generational shift.
Yeah.
We have to figure it out.
Yeah.
We have to.
Even taking that point back to Fernco. So Fernco was started on the donut, and then I believe it was a municipality in Dallas, Texas, that was asking for a connection from hub to hub. So not connecting
Right.
from the bell. And William Zophi at the time, the owner, founder of Fernco, said, "No way. That's a terrible idea. The way that we connect pipe is through the Fernco donut." And Daryl Cooper at the time, he was the one that saw the innovation in what is the standard Fernco coupling, connecting hub to hub. And it just goes to show that, we have to have those innovators that are willing to push ideas, push the envelope, and, the next...
Break the status quo.
Yeah, the next latest and greatest thing is, going to be right there. And, hopefully we get a new wave of that.
Yeah.
And I think it is coming with AI and the technology and, the example that we saw this morning with GIS mapping. I mean, that's been around, but I mean, it's only getting better.
Yeah, what they were showing there was pretty
better.
cool. Yeah.
It's really cool.
Yeah. And that's, and I think, I feel like you have these big conflicts right now in, like the technology, AI, right? And then you have like your classic products, which have still developed over time. I mean, most of your valves have gotten better. They've gotten more efficient, better materials. And I think the mix of that is now, and this side is like more tech, software driven, predictability. I think we can kind of have an area there where we still need to innovate for new products.
Yeah.
And if you think we're done, that's, it's always, when you hear these problems, you look at some of the areas in the industry where there's problems that there's not, you're trying to figure out, you can't solve that. So we're just going to go with normally what we do. Well, let's figure out how to do it. Figure out how to solve that problem.
Yep.
We can do that. The problem too is that, I'd mentioned the companies that say, we've been in business for blah, 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 right? And that's why you should buy from us. The other flip side of is if you're not innovating, like where you almost, a lot of these companies that will say that, there's a reason why you've been in business for that long, because you probably started and revolutionized the industry.
Yeah, you had the greatest idea.
You had the idea at the time, right? And then you kind of get, it's kind of like you get fat on it, and then you decide, well, we're not, no need to go in this direction. We're fine doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
And I really feel that if you're keeping a pulse on what's going on in infrastructure in general, so not just water, wastewater. There's, when you look at electrical grid, right? All kinds of infrastructure in general.
Yep.
If you're not going to innovate, you're just missing that piece. Because I feel like it's like everything wants to go tech, or like the status quo. And there's kind of a happy medium too, where there's another area for still innovating new products.
Yeah.
Right.
We have
Even
to
if
be
it's
well
something-
balanced.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a
Absolutely.
great point.
Yeah. And so you were this. So you were in. This is after COVID, where you had went
Moved
to the Fernco
over
side.
to the
right?
Fernco
Yeah.
side. Yep.
Then before, so you started in. You've been there 9 years, was it?
Yep.
Right.
Coming up on 9 years.
And before that, what did you do?
I was in the construction business, so I worked for a company that did windows, decking, roofing, siding.
Nothing to do with pipe valves and
Nothing to do with pipe valves and fittings.
It's fine.
Yeah. Kind of like that you talked about before you got into this industry. When you turn the water on, where does it come from? Before you got into this, you're like, I don't know, the sink. And if you would have asked me, hey, when you flush your toilet,
Where does it go?
where does it go and what connects it? I don't know.
It kind of reminds me of that movie where I remember it's like, I know it's Jack Black. When did the vaporize? Did you ever see that movie?
I don't think so.
Oh gosh,
Not
I wish I
that one.
remember.
I like Jack Black.
You got to watch it. He like sprays this like looks like hairspray on dog poop because he was sick and tired of picking it up and it just goes away. So he called it vaporize, like it vaporizes it. Where does it go when you flush it? It's just gone. That's kind of what I always think of it. But that's how everyone. That's how I thought of it. That's my. I'll tell you, Aurora Water does a really cool thing. My kid came home one day with like a workbook in elementary school. They'll go out and they do these things, and it showed them how water, like where it says,
Oh, cool.
yeah, like rain, snow melts, so you have a
Yep.
source to the point of use. It shows all that,
Yep.
which
Very
I think is
cool.
really good because, I mean, I had no idea. Like
No.
nobody ever in school anyone ever teach how water gets. I don't think it was ever taught.
No.
Yeah, so you
No,
just
not at
find
all.
the industry by default.
Yeah, and it's funny now that we're in it. I I have no plans of leaving. One, this company.
Oh yeah,
two,
you're stuck.
the industry. And I think it just goes to show, our friends, our colleagues that have been in this. Talk about my boss right now. He's 43 years at Fernco. That just doesn't happen wherever you go.
Yeah.
To spend that much time and to talk to guys that have been here 15, 20, 25 years. It's not uncommon to hear that.
Today
so.
went to the class, and I always like to ask people their hands. Like,
That's great. A great example.
You got like 42 years.
42 years.
Oh,
The next
yeah,
guy
you
had
have
36. Next guy had 32. And
Yeah.
I would say half of that class, which this is a good and a bad thing, had over 20 years. And once those guys leave, that's a little concerning.
You can see the gap, though, the generational gap that we were talking about in the industry, which I think is exciting. It's a good thing. But it was like 5 years or more. Keep your hand up.
Yep.
And when you hit this, so you had like 10. It seems like between 10 and 20, there was like a big gap when the hands go down, and that's that gap.
Yep.
And there's some highly intelligent people, like the younger generation. Yeah, I like to talk shit with them, like millennials and.
Hey,
But they.
I'm a millennial.
Well, yeah.
You're talking Gen Zs.
Gen Z's my son too. But it's like there's. They did learn how to access information better, right? Like when I was in high school. And even when I was in the Marine Corps, when was the iPhone? The iPhone first came out in like 2001, 2002.
Yeah.
Hasn't not been that long.
No, it was definitely 2004 to 2,
Somewhere
in that range.
3.
Yeah.
I remember. I think it was the Super Bowl in 2001 when Apple put the teaser out that they were
Oh, okay.
how we do communication.
So you might have a better
no, you're about right. I think it's 2000, somewhere 2001 to 2004. So we're not talking about that long ago.
No.
Before that. The information's right there.
Yeah.
And, these guys that are working, they're smart. They're problem solvers. They have to be.
Mm-hmm.
Because, and I'm talking about the guys that work at the, water and wastewater, for the cities, for the municipalities. Those guys have to be smart.
Yep.
because they're asked to do more. And what's funny is they'll figure problems out. They know what the issue is, and they'll try to figure it out. And I think that's where, that's where hopefully we can start kind of turning the tide on some of the problems and the infrastructure issues that we have right now.
And only technology is only getting better and better. AI that's coming out that was working with the mapping that we saw this morning and being able to pinpoint where problems are and where we need to focus on. I mean, so as technology grows and, this next generation that has grown up with that technology, I really think we're only going to get more efficient.
Hopefully, the only roadblock is will, so they're there on on the line, on the front lines of all of it.
Yeah.
And then they're managed by people that have been doing it for 30, 40 years.
Yeah.
So they're going to bring those to them. The question is, will they listen to them? And that's been the bottleneck is maybe stop and listen to those guys. Maybe remember when you were that guy.
Yeah.
Remember when you were that 22-year-old kid and had an idea.
Yeah.
And, you're like, hey, whatever, why are we doing it like this?
Right.
And those guys always say that's just how we've always done it.
I think we've always had that power struggle between generation to,
Sure.
I think what's special about this next generation coming up is that they have a lot of data and a lot of numbers to support what they're doing. So hopefully that could be a change in the tide of, well, I know you've always done it this way, but look what the numbers say on why we should do it this way.
Well, the first one, the why is because it's not working.
Yeah,
Right.
Right.
When you're losing 6 billion gallons of water every single day, it's not working.
When you told me that, that's
yeah.
crazy. And then we did the math on the number of fire hydrants just in Denver.
In Denver, yeah.
Yeah.
And how many operators it takes to run through those?
You ran the math on that. Yeah.
So that'd be 13 people working, all they do
That's
every
all
day
they
for
do.
8 hours, every single day of the year.
Don't ask me to lift a box because I am working on.
Which Denver does. I mean, they have a crew, and I want to say I believe it's somewhere around there. I do think it's around 10 to 15 people.
Right.
So,
but realistically, no one could dedicate their time to just that.
When you look at so we even look at, I think one guy can do, the way the math was, if that's all they do, one guy can do 2,300 hydrants a year.
Yeah.
A year, one guy.
One guy.
So 2,300 hydrants, I mean, that's a very small town.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And those small towns that I see, they have some of those guys they got a manager. I mean, I was in a town that has maybe 1,000 hydrants, and they got one guy who does water and wastewater, and then he has one other guy. That's it. And they have to do all the compliance issues. They do water and wastewater and streets.
There was a municipality at the presentation that I was talking to this morning, and they said there's about 10 of those guys, and they do everything from water to wastewater to roads.
Yep. That's very common.
Very common. And I was with the municipality out east in New Jersey. I mean, they do everything that I was helping them with a project, and they go, all right, Dave, after this, we have to go hang the Christmas lights. That's that's a part of our gig, too. I'm like, wait, what? You guys were just working on infrastructure that is detrimental to what this community does. And now you have to go put up a wreath in the Christmas lights and go, we do it all, baby.
We got to make sure we get you back for Wyoming. You talked to Wyoming Rural Water Conference. Coming up.
Yeah.
It'll give you an eye-opening experience. You have places up there that have one guy that does everything, and he has volunteer water operators, like for repairs. I mean, there's places like that, 2, 3. I mean, underfunded, highly underfunded. And here, what's funny is like now when you look at like data centers, so So there's a massive data center up in Cheyenne. And then I think, oh my gosh, they want to put who is it that wants to do that? Warren Buffett and there's like a joint venture for, I don't want to misspeak, there's a joint venture for a nuclear plant.
Okay.
Out in, it's a town in Wyoming called But it's out in the middle of nowhere.
Yep.
Beautiful, but it's beautiful. It's right it's like Wyoming and Idaho border.
Okay.
And they want to put in a nuclear power plant there. You know how much water they require? There's no infrastructure for that.
Really?
So, I mean, that's when you get into these areas, like that's where you have space. That's where they're going to put, data centers or because everything we need right now is electrical, is power. That's going to be the bottleneck for everything.
Yep.
So just to move water, you need power.
Yep.
Power people.
Yep.
Then you have data centers, AI, which everyone's going to AI, but you have to have the infrastructure you need cooling, you need water.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So that becomes that bottleneck.
Even if they're recirculating that water, because that was the big argument about these data centers, how much water they're going to put into them. But obviously, they're reusing a lot of that water, but it's still to the point. You still have to have the source of water.
Yeah.
And Wyoming, it's not exactly on every block.
Well, and you have it's just the capacity issues, right?
Yeah, right.
What's the volume? How many gallons per minute do you need? How many, per day? I mean, you're talking about smaller type of plant, like type volume, not 6 million gallons a day, or these are high, and you have towns that aren't built for that at all.
No.
But it's like, just figure it out, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of the same way. Turn on the water. Like, we want the water. Why can't the water be here? We have to put it there.
Yeah. It's a good idea on paper.
Yeah.
Just figure it out.
So you're running into all those issues right now. You have, and really what's funny, I think what's like ironic about it is, like, at the end of the day, nothing works without water. Like, everything that we're doing as we're moving forward and progressing still needs water.
Yeah. It's the beauty of the industry that we work in. While it may not seem glamorous or sexy to the outside world, it's what we need to survive. We need water. We need to be able to flush our water, our wastewater. It's got to go somewhere. We're a necessity.
You got distribution and collection. Need it all.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
And retention. So
yep.
the retention's a big issue. I think it'll be, because I think some of that stuff doesn't need to be. I see a lot of applications right now where it's clean water, doesn't have to be potable. So it's, retention becomes a big issue.
Interesting.
It's a great time to be in the industry, because I think where everything's heading, we're going to have to solve the problems.
Yep.
And it's problems that have never been faced before.
Yep.
So I think it's going to lead to some of those changes and solutions.
Yeah.
Because eventually you can't keep doing the same thing when they didn't have data centers.
What's your favorite quote? Doing the same thing over and over.
Yeah, it is insanity. It's definition of insanity.
Yeah.
Albert Einstein. Right?
Yeah.
That and Michael Scott's. You miss what is it?
You miss
100% of the shots you don't take. Michael Scott, also Wayne Gretzky.
Also Wayne Gretzky, said by Michael Scott.
Michael Scott. It's I think it's a exciting time.
Yeah.
And it's great for everything coming up for Fernco, and I know you said you had something exciting to announce at some point, but it'll be good to see how things progress, how things change.
Yep.
I think as soon as a manufacturer stops, listening or trying to find the solutions to problems, that's when they kind of cease to be that
I
guy.
agree.
And they get big, and it's kind of like, it's almost like the circle of pride. It's never forget why you're here. It's like you're talking about how Fernco came about, making a donut by hand.
Yeah.
It's like, that's Earl Bradley, solving a problem. And then at some point, and then you solve the problem. that's why you're in high demand. That's why everyone knows your name as Fernco, right? Mm-hmm. The second you forget that, then you've lost everything that made you who you were.
Yep. I think it's a good testament to where we are and where we're going. You look at the donut, the standard coupling to what we have now. I mean, we have an Icon push fit coupling that is an internal coupling that connects pipe together that's sheared off at the wall.
That's one of those products where you're like, damn it, why didn't I think of that?
Why didn't
like
I
you look
think
at it, you're
of
like,
that?
oh my gosh.
Yeah, it makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Right? And we're looking into wall-mounted flat valves. We came out with the Hulk coupling a couple years ago, which is our universal coupling. That it's that green. You can't miss it, right? You go to
it looks like the Hulk smash,
and it's got these stainless steel rods that run through the coupling that we're able to connect a wide range. So if you had a 56 series on your truck, but you needed an 02, vice versa, instead of calling up rep masters and saying, hey, this is what I got, where do I got to go? You send the guy back to a distributor. He's got to pick up the right coupling, come back to the job site. You could have just had...
Well, it's even more, especially for the transition for in sewer, there's so many different types of pipe.
Yeah.
I mean, typically in water, you got IPS and ductile iron pipe size pretty much dictates, and then you have old cast and pit cast, and then you get into the AC or transite pipe, class 150. Mm-hmm. But most of it, if you can have a range of DI to IPS, you're good. Sure. Sewer, you can have a hodgepodge, whatever. If clay to concrete, clay to concrete.
And the records never seem to be right. Yeah. Too many times guys are digging, they go, well, this was supposed to be clay to clay, and this is, clay to concrete,
right,
or something like that. And, I mean, the variety is so wide that even in upstate New York, there's still wooden...
wood stave.
Yeah. Oh. That still exists.
Wooden sewer.
Wooden sewer, yeah. Yeah, that still is out there. So having a product like the Hulk that could connect such a wide range of pipe materials and using those stainless steel rods to hone down on that smaller size pipe has really opened up the game for us and allowed our customers to do their job better, more efficiently. Get out of the ditch, whether it's Friday at 5 o'clock or a holiday, where they didn't have to spend all that time looking for, a coupling that they didn't have. They can just throw that on.
Or you could just fix it trenchless, right?
Could do that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
I love to talk about that too, because that's where I cut my teeth in sales, and I love to talk about pipe patch and fixing pipe.
There's so much cool stuff out there. I thought all the time, how could you make it the biggest thing is to me. If I was a manufacturer, when listening to needs, you want to make it the safest way to install, right? Because number one is, when I started, I was like, I'd be the first one to hop in a ditch, because I want to learn.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And then I was doing a class up in, I was after it was maybe 6 years doing this. Did up a class, and there was a district that they didn't attend that day because it was they had a contractor out in the area that had no trench box, no nothing, 8 foot deep, lowest bid contractor.
Yep.
Not cutting. Why are they the lowest bid? Because maybe cutting some processes, right? Got a guy in a hole making some connections on the sewer line. Mm-hmm. Didn't collapse.
The no trench box.
And it was
just makes me shiver.
It was a sad story. Yeah. The guy, I think one guy got out barely. The other guy, he was there. They were able to get a piece of small, diameter PVC down to where he was breathing. But every time you breathe, when it collapses, that's 2,000 pounds. 1 cubic yard is 2,000 pounds.
Yeah.
Dry fill dirt.
Yeah.
So every time you breathe,
small.
tighter.
Yep.
Breathe again, tighter. And it was on the news out here.
Oh God.
And so I was doing a class there, and I they didn't show up. They didn't show up because they were trying to get them out. So it was up in northern Colorado, a smaller district.
Yeah.
And then of course the fire department showed up. They had a hydrovac, and they wouldn't let them bring the truck near it because they were worried that it would, sink or collapse and kill him. It's like he's gonna be dead anyway, but he's gonna be dead anyway. Like, get him out. So they were pretty upset. But that's how quick
it can happen.
Yeah. So I think if you're worried, let's get less risk, people out of the ditch, less time in the ditch, better.
Yep.
And if you really care, it's making it safer. And then also the other side, the flip side is most of the issues on products, it's not the product. And that's why I talk to when I talk to cities and they have an issue with a product. Typically, it's the installation.
Yeah.
It really is like 90% of it.
Yep.
And maybe the manufacturer didn't effectively communicate what the application was, or where or how.
Yeah.
But usually it's installation error. And so anytime you can make that product, and the contractors do a great job, but I'm just saying in general, we always call them Marine Corps ID10T proof, idiot proof. Like, you want to make it as simple as to eliminate mistakes, potentials for errors.
Yep.
If you can do that, that to me is the best manufacturing. Is let's solve a problem, let's make it as, what are the potential pitfalls in installation? Because you're going to hand this product to somebody that didn't sit there and study it, develop it, manufacture it, and knows exactly what they're trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
You're going to hand this off to a guy who's going to install it.
9 times out of 10,
and be like,
that guy
here's
just
my
wants
installation.
to get in, get out.
Yeah.
Yep. And now that you say that, I will say majority of the new products that we've come out with have had the term universal used, whether it's universal from installation as far as ease, or it fits X amount of sizes, probably to eliminate, installing the wrong size in the wrong application or something like that. It's definitely where, I think we're going, and that's where the industry is going, is trying to make that idiot-proof product of, hey, these guys aren't going to sit there and read the manual from cover to cover. So.
No, most of the time when they show up on a job site and they're like, we didn't get IONMs. And I'll walk on a job site and be walking around and there's dirt and everything. There's a box and just rub your foot down there and all of a sudden, oh my God, there's an IONM. It's dude, we're man. It's with my wife, don't give me the instructions. I don't need the instructions. I'll do it myself.
Yeah, I got this.
But it's they're there. They're there for a reason. You even have, if you really read some of those, it's it comes down to installation temperature, when you're installing it, what the temperature is. Yep. There's a lot of key factors. And unfortunately, we're men, so we'll just
push on through.
No, I'll figure it out.
Yeah, right.
But there's a reason. But there is that, however you can take that X factor out of it, that potential for failure in installation process or whatever it is, makes it, that to me is huge. Because, I think, there's so many products in the industry that are amazing, but if you're not communicating, I would say engineers are really good at designing things for a reason. You're not really the best at communicating why or how. And so when that gap exists, you create the potential for, errors in installation.
Yep.
Right? Yep. So that usually is the case, is most people don't understand. Even when you look at a restraint, a mechanical restraint, like a Megalug, there is a reserve controlled movement. There's an RCM. There's the pipe has to move.
Yeah.
If it doesn't move, it's going to break.
Yep.
It's rigid, too rigid. Right? So, but if you don't communicate that, or someone doesn't understand that, that's why you have guys just tightening shit down to the max and then get the big cheater bar, then put the big guy on it and let him have a go.
Yep.
And that's, those are the types of issues that create problems down the road. Once it's buried, it's gone.
Yeah.
But it's still going to be dynamic. It's still going to move. Mm-hmm. So we went. So you were doing doors, roofing,
and windows and siding.
Yep.
That was a past life, I feel like, at this point.
Yep.
Since then, I've gotten married, I've had 2 kids.
2 kids,
bought
yeah.
a house.
You're from Michigan?
From Michigan. Yep.
So you're a Red Wings fan.
I am a Wings fan.
Oh.
Yep. Went to school on the west side of the state. Lived there for about 6 years. Moved to Chicago for a number of years. Moved back to the Metro Detroit area. And then at that time, my younger brother and sister were starting to come up and play sports, and I didn't want to miss that. So I had about an hour north from Detroit, which is back home for me, which is by Davison, but
You feel like an hour and a half away?
from Detroit. Yeah. But I'm still from the same county as Davison, but I didn't live near Davison, so I would never have thought that I would have moved kind of back to my hometown, so to speak. It's not where I grew up.
I kind of did that too.
Yeah, yeah. And
I actually went back. I wanted to go back to my hometown, which I didn't think I would do.
Really?
Because my son is going to the same high school I went to. I never thought that would happen, ever. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, my kids are going to a different school, but not too far from where I graduated from. And, man, if you would have told me at 18 that I would be in the vicinity of where I grew up, I would have told you, no way.
Yeah, I mean, when you're 18, you think you'd conquer everything, isn't it?
Well,
I had left. I come back, been around, just kind of, that's what happened.
Yeah, yeah.
like-
I mean, when I was 18, so where I'm from is Flint, Michigan, and
Ooh.
yeah,
Oh, see, we already, I didn't even know that one. We could have had that one on for a while there.
yeah.
Everyone likes to talk about Flint.
Yeah, everyone wants to talk about Flint, and I'm proud to say I'm from Flint. Been through a lot of struggles, similar to Detroit, in a sense that they've had their ups and downs. Obviously, with the automotive industry being so prevalent in that town and so many jobs. At one point, per capita, Flint was the wealthiest city in the nation. I mean, you had Chevy, you had Buick, you had all these great companies that were just thriving. And
Yeah, the automotive business is a passion of mine because I spent 12 years working sales. So I worked for, so I was the youngest sales manager for Chrysler.
Okay.
The only reason I know that is because I had to log into their system as a manager. And so, I was the youngest sales manager there for Chrysler dealership.
yeah,
Dodge, Jeep, Chrysler, and then started a Ford dealership selling. Was a manager, and then I was a general sales manager for a Hyundai, Nissan, and Mitsubishi dealership. So it's like automotive was, but it's kind of funny because automotive in a way, similar to what in what's going on in like water infrastructure, same thing. It's like I used to joke around with the reps because we had reps too that would come in from Chrysler, and I remember when I was at in Florida. We had a Hyundai and a Nissan guy that come in, and I would joke around if they were both there around the same time. I'd be like, I want to know when you guys had that meeting. They're like, what meeting? I'm like, the meeting where you guys all sat down, not you, but the bigwigs, and said, we all know we can make the 100, the motor that will go for 100,000 miles that doesn't need an oil change, right? But we all know we're not going to make it, right?
yeah.
So like
how
that's
much
how
money we would leave on the table if we brought that out.
Parts, yeah. I mean, I always say like parts, service, and used cars. Like new cars does not make the money.
Nope.
Right. So the parts and service that puts the sign. The new car sales are for the sign.
Yeah.
Everything else makes the money.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of how it rolls.
Yep.
But so Flint was a
Flint's home for me.
Yeah.
Yep. And obviously they've gotten their time in the spotlight, because the city of Flint was on Detroit water for a number of years, and then they switched over to Flint water, and then obviously the additives and things that were in.
So Detroit was they were on like Reed and Bill. So Detroit's providing the water. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep. Correct. Yeah. And then it contaminated the water in the city of Flint, just the city of Flint. Then there's Flint Township outside of that, and then Genesee County, which is, the county where Flint is in. So Yeah, Flint was basically the poster child for lead in drinking water
Yeah.
that was getting
Oh,
kids
yeah.
sick, and obviously it made world news. I had friends overseas that were either traveling abroad or had moved over there, and they said, they're texting me, Dave, what's going on with Flint? I'm like, how do you know this? Like, you're across the pond right now. It just got that big.
Yeah, it was all over.
It was all over. It was crazy. And then actually,
Well, I think a lot of so there was a lot of replacement going on at that time because
yep,
they had taken since now it makes sense because I didn't know that they had been under like a read and bill or they were being Detroit Water was providing the water, but
yes,
it makes sense because when you make those changes, right? Like you start kicking up this. It's like changes in pressure, changes in dynamics. So you start kicking up and stirring up.
yeah,
So, I think a lot of that kind of it's almost like you're when you go in and you stir up like the water and you got you start kicking your feet around if you're in a lake, right? You kick up the dirt and the mud, and it makes that water like that's where you get that. If someone starts flushing hydrants, everyone's like, "Oh, my water's brown."
yeah,
Yeah. So when you do that, it makes changes like that, and,
Yep.
and a lot of that stuff's kind of like encased. So that it's a challenge. Like you look at any system, like where you have hard water or anything, and you can look inside the pipe, and I mean it'll blow. Like if people could look in there,
if they only knew
Yeah.
what their
I mean
pipes
it's
look like.
and it's safe. Like it's to be fair. Like we're very blessed in Colorado. Like with the water quality samples that like we have great quality water. But
Sure.
anywhere you start kicking up laminar flow, you're going to stir up some stuff. So, and that when that water sits stagnant, like that's when you get
You're asking for problems.
right. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's again, I do think it's an exciting time to be in the industry.
Yeah.
So you're like, dude, I mean, I kind of envy you right now because I'd rather go back and be about 10 years younger with what I know now.
Yeah.
'Cause I wish I would have gotten into this a lot earlier. I do.
Well, I still have a long way to go. Obviously, a lot of my knowledge is on the DWV side. When you talk to me about water, potable water, everything that goes along with that side, I'm like, yeah, uh-huh.
Well,
You
why
know?
shouldn't? Well, Fernco needs to do some stuff in pressure. Like that's like if you solve problems, you solve problems.
Correct,
Right?
100%.
So there's stuff that should be done. Like I mean, there's quite a lot, and Fernco's a great manufacturer. I know with my time at Rep Masters, there's like three manufacturers that I can look at and be like, I don't even gotta worry about customer service. I can pass that on,
Yeah,
and you're fine.
yeah,
EBA, one of them like that. You guys, they've always been like that.
yep,
Solve problems.
yep.
Tell Tom, man, let's get into we can water. Like we got to get into the distribution side.
So I agree. And one of the great things about Fernco is that we know what we're good at and we're willing to innovate
Right.
and come up with new solutions, but we also won't jump into something
Right.
knowing that we're going to do it just because it will make us profit or, it's something that everyone is telling us to do. We want to make sure that we do our homework,
Sure.
that when we do come out with a product that it's going to have the Fernco name on it, and we want to make sure that it meets the same level of excellence as all the rest of our products. So hopefully soon to come in the near future that we do get into other exciting types of markets. I mean, we are getting into a newer side with the Fernco infrastructure side with the cements, the grouts, the pipe patch. So we are growing. While it may not be on the water side, maybe that's one day to come. But we're
Hey man,
definitely
everyone, like, guess what? Wastewater is important
yes,
because if it backs up,
it's a problem.
Yeah.
It's not something that you could just say, you know what, we'll fix that one day.
Right.
It's no. All right, let's cut this pipe out. Let's put a new piece.
well, I mean,
put some
when you
Ferncoats
look at
on it.
how, to me, it's kind of shocking how there's not more of those issues with what people dump down the drain, put down, right?
Oh yeah,
So,
I mean,
yeah, it's...
we do put out quite a bit of Ferncos per day, so
Yeah.
I think
Was that the reason for the 130,000? There's a lot of poop down there.
Keep flushing all those extracurriculars.
Well, listen, man, this has been great.
Thanks for having me.
No,
this
man,
is
it
a
was
lot of
awesome.
fun.
Yeah. It's I enjoy it. Like, it was kind of something I wasn't sure if doing this. We kind of had a lull during the whole holiday season where we had, when we have show season and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I like having people in person.
Yeah.
If I can get them. So it's hard to do that sometimes. And
Sure.
I want to have the manufacturers come out. So I appreciate you coming out.
Yeah. I mean, this is the perfect podcast for guys like us that are in the industry, that are kind of nerds about what we do, but it's not just manufacturers.
We don't want to just sit here and talk about products. We're like,
No.
DS.
No, but it's engineers, it's founders, it's principals, it's guys in the field, it's distribution. I mean, you guys are definitely covering anyone and everyone that has an association with what we do. And I mean, I'm subscribed. I'm watching it. You got me hooked. So,
Well, you're the first person that's actually come on and referenced another episode, so I'll take that one.
I mean,
That'll validate me, because I'm like, man, and honestly, I really don't care if anyone watches. I love listening to people talk about, like, that's where the whole legends came in to place. Yeah. Like, I thought it was going to be, like, about stories, and really, that's when it kind of hit me. It was more about the people.
Yeah.
Like, listening to these guys talk their stories, it's like, dude, you're a legend. And everyone always says that. Like, you're a legend of this. If you get to talk to someone like Tom, right, or Brent.
Yeah.
Or
that was a great episode, too.
Yeah, or Chris, or
Yep.
and Chris's dad, Jim. Like, these are all legends. These are people that, like, you look at, and, they're, they've made their impact. And their stories, it's all crazy. Because nobody does this just by going, when they're a kid, I want to do it. Like, I want to be a water operator, or I want to be in the, I want to work with pipe valves and fittings.
Yeah.
But when you get into it, if you love it, you stay into it.
Definitely. And our industry, it's so big, and we're across every single state. I mean, water runs everywhere, right? But you look at the people that are in the industry. I mean, how small is it? I mean, you could just rip off a couple names that we're both like, yep,
I know that person.
seen him, Rural Water Show, saw him at Ace, saw him over here. I mean, it's pretty cool when you take a step back and you go, wow, there are some legends in this industry.
And if you ever want to make an impact, I mean, that's always my thing is, I really want to bring about change. Something that solves a problem. Like, everybody drinks water and everybody poops. So,
facts.
Like, that stuff is going to be, critical for a long time.
Long time.
So, but no, I appreciate you coming on. It was great to have you, and we'll do it again.
Thanks, John. Appreciate it.
You bet. Cheers.
Cheers, brother.
All right.